you don't actually need that much money to hire someone. I know a lot of people think that you do, that you need a crap ton of money, and you might be like, oh, I don't have enough money to be able to afford to hire somebody, I really need that extra money, or I don't have that extra money. But the truth is, you can actually hire someone and make more money than you would make if you were to not hire that person, And so I want to talk today a little bit about hiring and how you spending extra money in the short term can lead to a lot more peace, a lot more happiness, and a lot more, money for you than if you were to not hire that person to begin with, So the first main thing that I really feel is super important is that you get clear on the things that you need help with, of course, and fantasize as if you right now had that person. What would you build out your next week's schedule to look like with with that person, the personal assistant, salesperson, whatever it is that you need most in your business? So the first little challenge would be for you to do exactly that, to write out your entire week. Open your calendar and write out the entire week of what you would do and what your personal assistant would do, or what your salesperson would do. Write it out as if they need to know what to do and you're sending them the exact instructions. Then from there, you have a really clear understanding of what that is, and it starts to kind of happen in your mind. It starts being built. There's nothing. Look at all these buildings out here. None of these buildings were created without it first being created inside someone's skull, inside someone's brain. So why not do the same for you? Just slowly but surely start realizing what you need, getting really clear on it, and then from there, just trust the process. I have friends who have owned businesses for a long time, and they're like, oh, I could, hire a personal assistant, I could hire some help, but I might not really be able to afford that. And then before you know it, the alarms sound in your business, and you're 2, 3, 4 years down the line, and you haven't really found any additional growth or any additional success. But if you were to have hired that person, sure, it might have cost you a little bit of money for the first few months, but after a while, that person could potentially be making you a lot more money than you were making before. And so that's why I think it's so crucial to realize this other point, which is that it doesn't have to cost much of anything. You can hire somebody for a minimum wage, a little bit more, and just start them off at 10 hours a week, 5 hours a week. If that's $15 an hour, then that's what, $150 per week for 10 hours a week, or 5 hours a week, that's $75 per week. So what's that, $600, $300 to $600 a month to have a person that's actually really helping you out and making a difference. And if you're having them focus on things that's actually going to bring you in more money, whatever you're doing, more clients, more events, more shows, more things, whatever it is, then you might be in a position where you're getting paid more than $600 per month. So that leads me to my next point, that not only is it affordable to hire someone new, but you should focus on having that person's first goal as an employee or as a contractor to make their money back, to pay for their own salary, to have them earn enough money for your company that they're free. And once they're free, you're good to go. So I just want you to think about those things as I'm walking to my destination here. Please consider hiring someone. Don't just blindly hire some person that's not going to make you any money back if you don't have the money by any means, but there's so much potential there, and I really want to see you grow into abundance and not be so connected to every single project that you have, and having this mentality that you have to control everything and that you have to sometimes let go of some parts of your project and delegate and grow and build. And that's going to create so much value in your personal life to be able to see that happen. The first time I hired someone was a guy named Sean Chapman. Like 10 years ago, I hired a dude named Sean Chapman. He was a mixing engineer, and I was producing music for record labels. And I had my own little online business 10 years ago. And he was okay. He was good. He had the mindset. He had everything. And I trained him and trained him and trained him. And one day, he sent me a mix. And it sounded like my mix. It sounded like my song. It sounded like something that I created. And I was like, oh my God, this guy actually created something in my exact style. And I had this out-of-body experience where I realized I can do my work in the world without doing any work. And sure enough, what happened with that business, I was charging people at the time $150 to $200 per mix for their songs. And instead of me having to do 5 hours of work, I was doing 20 minutes of work. All I was doing was opening the email, listening to the song, sending it over to Sean with all the details of what I wanted him to do. And when he was done, he sent it back. If there was any changes, I gave him some renditions, but I didn't have to do the work anymore. And if I found a song that I absolutely loved, that I wanted to put my touch on, my personal touch on, then I could do that. And so I want you to experience that out-of-body experience when someone comes into your life and does the work that you normally do, but they do it as good or even better than you do. That's a magical, magical experience, almost as magical as that unicorn back there. One love. Life is beautiful. Make yourself proud.